Hello, I'm Sean Buckley, Editor-in-Chief of Broadband Technology Review and Lightwave, and we're here live at SCTE Cable-Tec today, 2023. Today I'm talking to Steve Condra, Senior Director of Business Development at Teleste during the Cable-Tec Expo today. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you. I really appreciate the time and look forward to educating everybody on what we have to offer.
Why are connected amps important to the cable industry?
So we have a line here of 1.8 gigahertz amplifiers that are behind us, and it's one of the things that we're demonstrating at the show today. But in addition to smart amplifiers, we have connected smart amplifiers. So the connection enables MSOs to make changes to the amplifiers remotely, so they can be at their desk and they can measure things like ingress or attenuate ingress or measure CPD, and in some cases pinpoint locate accuracy on locating both ingress and CPD issues in the field. So those connections, while are critically important to both setup and operation of the amplifier, and enable us to do things more intelligently and not always have to get in a truck and drive to the location.
Great, okay. What are the connection choices available for today and how do they differ?
Yeah, so we have an optional plug-in device here that's a transponder that there are multiple options you could use. One of them is a DOCSIS-based transponder. The other one is an HMS transponder. There is a committee, part of SCTE, looking at multiple different standards of transponders. We're participating in that standards activity. And so when an MSO decides to invest in this transponder, they can put it in every amp, or they could put it in some of the amps, or they could put it in none of the amps. But in addition to this transponder that enables communication in band on the cable TV system, we also have apps for smartphones in which if you're at the location and need connection to the amplifier to either do a setup or to store the information back in the cloud, you can do that with a smart amp if you haven't invested in the transponder. So we have multiple options, some of which are plug into the actual amplifier and some of which are hand carried by the technician.
Great, so you mentioned standards. Do you think that's a real requirement for the industry?
I wouldn't say it's a requirement because we've lived for how many years in the past without a standard in some of these cases. But I do think it definitely creates an ecosystem where we can get economies of scale and lower costs and ensure that multiple vendors' equipment will talk to each other, which I think from an industry perspective is quite powerful. So as we've used transponders in the past in other applications, but not nearly the proliferation of transponders like we're talking about doing with intelligent amplifiers. And as we proliferate transponders, I do think a standard would enable some economies of scale and lower costs that would benefit everybody.
Well, thank you, Steve. That's some really great perspective. I'm Sean Buckley at BTR and Lightwave, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you.